welcome back to my channel. This is going to be part 1 of 2 of do's and don'ts. Today we're obviously focusing on the face only. Part 2 will be the eyes. I'm going to do a smoky eye and kind of go in a little bit on common techniques that are done that I think there's like slight little tweaks that you can make such a world of difference. The biggest takeaway for me was just the contour and like blush placement. That was probably the biggest difference obviously today, and along with highlight. Moment of silence for this. Yeah, so okay, let's get into it, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, first step to skin is going to be La Mer, the Mist. Next I'm going in with MAC C+ Coral Grass Tinted Cream, and this has my SPF in it. Next I'm going in with White Marble Essence from Erno, Laszlo. Alright, if you ignore all of those first steps, don't skip this step. This is Too Faced Major Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. And I can't stress to you how much primer means to your makeup. It's the difference between 4 hours and like 16-hour day of makeup. For the do side, we're gonna go in with Maybeline FitMe foundation. This is shade Buff Beige 130. And then on this side, I'm going to mix this with some of my Tarte Light Sand concealer, just because I think a major don't is getting anything off shade, whether it's lighter or darker. So I'm gonna go the lighter route, and it will probably just drain my face. One thing I didn't mention is if you don't know what color is right for your skin, I recommend going to Sephora and they can do a color match for your skin. Even Nordstrom gives out samples, and that can be really helpful so you never have the wrong shade. Alright, on the do side, we're going to go in with a darker shade. This is Dream Radiant Liquid from Maybeline, and this is in shade Honey Beige 90. A big don't is over here. We're gonna just go in with this, which it will be a little bit darker, but it's not as big of a contrast as what we need. Also, you're gonna see that over here I blend down with my foundation. Over here I stopped at the jaw. We are going to stop at the jaw here as well, because that's a big don't. When it comes to this contour, I'm only blending upwards, and when we get into the bronzer, I'll explain that a little more. There's no shape to the side of my face. That's what it looks like I'm doing. That's gross. Okay, so next to primer, the second most underrated thing is setting powder. I invested in some Huda Beauty Blondie, and this life-changing. I mean, anything, you can get some really cheap stuff at like the dollar store. I'm already, like, you can see streaks here, brush strokes, everything, oily, like everywhere. These creases in my forehead, they're only gonna get worse throughout the day. The more I sweat, the more oils I produce. It's just gonna get grosser. Having setting powder is gonna help immensely. It's really important for the longevity of your makeup. We're gonna give the don't side the benefit of the doubt. We're gonna say that they heard about some contouring with some baking. I think a major don't is overusing concealer to brighten, which I understand the whole dark eye thing, clearly. Although if you are going to use this, you need to bake, and a lot of people that use this, they don't bake. So let's see what that looks like. Another don't is not wetting your beauty blender. This will change how the sponge reacts. Wet it if you're gonna do it right. Another don't I could have done was picking a translucent powder that was just white. If you have any pigment to your skin, I suggest doing a yellow or tinted translucent powder. This is such a mess. It's super oily, it's super gross, and without setting, all these things are just gonna stay. There's no fixing. Here's the very natural contour. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. All right, bronzer. I'm going to use the same bronzer on both sides. I'm going to use Bronze Goddess, Estee Lauder. I don't have any bad bronzers. That's why I don't really know what to do on the don't side other than I'm not gonna blend it. So it's a little bit more intense. Another don't is just picking like a color that's not good for you, like orange or something. Like you don't want to look like a Cheeto out here. We're just gonna keep it high and I'm barely touching. And we're just blending upwards. If anything, we're not going to go down because we want to lift our cheeks. So we got this like pretty high cheek now. See how this one's like super low? So over here I'm gonna go keep it low and I'm going to put a lot of product on. Oh. Alright, so I'm going to take a brush a little bit smaller here and I'm going to go in the detail, kind of following this natural arc. And it's very subtle. It's not like you need to see a line. It's just almost as if you're creating a shadow. I'm going to do a little under the lip, under the nose, just to create those shadows naturally. Notice how I have not touched my face with highlighter and yet there's a natural glow. That's because of all the face care prior to. That's what that'll do for your skin. It'll do wonders. Okay, this next one's optional. I've just been really liking it in the summer, but I go in with some Do You from Too Faced. This is Radiant Caramel. It's kind of my highlight. It just gives me that kind of glow. And on the do side, we're going to tap off most of it. Give it a little blow. And we're gonna go just right here. Here. On the don't side, however, I'm going to get too much product and just kind of making my threes. Look at that shine. Okay, that's gross. Okay, so I am going for a very dewy look, but that's not it. That's Cheeto looking orange creamsicle. For my highlight, I like to use Liquid Glow from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just do the tiniest dot, split it into two, and then I go in just in the highest part, and honestly, I'll just wipe off the excess. That is enough. Keeping it highly concentrated right on this top bone here. So there's that glow. Over here, we're already messing with a lot. I'm gonna bring it down and up. Some shine, all right. I just can't get over the contour. I literally feel like I'm like this face is just sitting so much lower. So I feel like blush. I recently learned this trick. I won't remember her name, but I will tag her. She taught me a whole new way of doing my blush that has changed the way that my face looks completely, and I love it. So I am going to use the same blush. I'm going to go in with this shade and this shade. I'm gonna mix the two, blow it off. The only difference that I will have between my do's and my don'ts is that on my do side, I'm going to look forward and only hit almost exactly where we were doing the highlight. On the don't side, however, I'm gonna do what we've all been taught since we were like 2 years old as women. You smile and you pack it into your cheek, right? Both looks are okay, but this one just brings everything up. It's like a facelift, honestly. It's a facelift. That's what's happening here. Since the nose is kind of split down the middle with good and bad, I can't really get into a good nose contour. Maybe that'll be a part 3 to this do's and don'ts kind of thing. Using that setting powder, you guys saw me kind of outline this kind of inner curve here. That's honestly as tight as you can make your nose, is as crisp as you make this setting powder. We'll just leave that there for a bit longer. It's obviously gonna look better when both sides are snatched. A good highlight, by the way, for the nose, I used the pink opal from the Alchemist Holographic palette from Kat Von D. I just take the tip of my finger and I lightly give it some glow. Lastly, for this part 1, we're gonna do brows, and then you guys are gonna have to wait for part 2. We're going to be doing smoky eye, and it'll be interesting. First, I'm going to comb through brows, a good side. I have naturally dark hair, if you can't see. I'm going in with the Urban Decay Ultimate Basics Naked Palette, and I'm going in with Lockout. As you can see, this is lighter than my hair by quite a bit. But I found if I'm looking for a natural brow shade, that's what I want to go for. I'll show you the don't side in a little second. I always start at the highest point in my brow and kind of fill in the end. Yeah, I messed up there. And then I make hair-like lines towards the front. Well, this brow is almost done. We're going to go in with Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. All right, this is just a clear liquid, and it's just gonna help shape these brows, set them, hence the name. Last but not least, don't say I didn't warn you. This will be bad. The don't side, brows. Going in with Bobbi Brown Gunmetal Ink. I have used this in the past. I do use it, but not like how I'm about to. Lots of products. I did not clean them up, which you'll find it'll just make this thick brow look even thicker. I'm gonna start here because why not? These are thick, like 5Cs. Another don't, we're going to outline these bad brows with a even lighter concealer from Shape Tape, because high contrast is what this side is all about. Just making this brow look as unnatural as possible over here, basically. Yeah, RIP. Normally don't go crazy with like highlighting over here. If anything, I go in with setting powder and I just kind of set around it. Alright, so we're all done with face. Do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. I almost forgot, because I often sometimes do in real life too, but setting this side of the face, just like primer, It is going to make a huge difference when it comes to the longevity of this makeup look. Stay tuned for smoky eye do's and don'ts coming up right after this. I want to reiterate, if you do something over here, I'm not judging you. Everyone does makeup differently. There's no real right or wrong or do's or don'ts. It's just your preference, and this is mine compared to this. Obviously, I exaggerated, but if you can learn anything, if you can take any tips from this side, if anything, prime and set, those are my main ones for you. I'll be excited to hear if anything helps. So, see you later.